somebody may have say maybe say $1 billion or something, and they'll never want it to be publicized. I have a problem when it comes to even selling, like high-end villas in the market. They don't want it to be shown.
I was going to ask you about that because I've been to Karen, Runda, Mathaga.
Yeah,
right?
it's.
What's those? Who are these people buying this? You know what I mean? Like, and so I know people have money around here.
Foreigners cannot own freehold land.
Right.
But then again, even locals here, many of them don't own freehold land.
Right, in Nairobi.
Yeah, in Nairobi.
Right.
Can you compare, right, the quality of real estate in terms of finishes, Kenya and the US, and tell me where, and point out those things?
In my videos, and when I talk about here, I'm rating quality based off of this market and industry. If you don't own assets, you're going to fall behind in the global market.
Very
Whether
true.
you're in the US, here, it doesn't matter because everything's going up.
Yeah.
And if you don't own things as the prices are going up, you're falling behind.
Would you advise anybody, right, to invest here?
I think it's the best thing ever. Nairobi is so alive compared to the States. You know how hard it is to build something in the U.S.? Like, it's impossible. The amount of permits, talk about cost of doing business, it's inaccessible. You need to pay lawyers crazy money.
It's your guy Boris Yeltsin. Welcome back to REALTY Boris podcast. Today I have with me a friend of mine from the U.S., experienced guy when it comes to real estate in the state of New Jersey. Is my friend Ran. Ran, you're welcome into my podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
You're welcome. And today I just want us to discuss with them, discuss with you, that is, the U.S. market in comparison to the Kenyan market for my clients and viewers to understand, just to see the comparison. Very important. Then now they can easily get to decide whether to buy here or to buy U.S. Because I have a lot of clients from diaspora, mostly U.S. Few from New Jersey, but a lot of them from Washington, D.C., and some from Seattle.
Okay, diaspora in Seattle's big.
Yeah, and then also Arizona and Dallas.
Okay.
Mostly. So, Ran, maybe you can just introduce yourself, and then we can.
Okay, my name's Ryan Fagan. I'm a real estate broker in New Jersey. I've been in real estate sales and investing for about 13 or 14 years now. In 2024, I came to Nairobi, just kind of on vacation, but also wanting to come back to the continent of Africa. And I ended up coming to Kenya instead of Ghana. Ghana's
all right, I know.
Just from doing research and watching some other people on YouTube, I decided to come to Kenya. I had an amazing time. I didn't do any content. I didn't plan to do any content. I just came to experience what's going on.
That was the first time in Kenya?
Yeah, February 2024.
How did you get to choose Kenya then? Because there's so many countries in Africa.
So,
all right.
When COVID happened, I live in New Jersey. It's very cold. It gets dark at 4 p.m. in the winter time.
All right, I know.
And it's very depressing.
I know.
And I think, getting a little bit older, you start valuing different things. And I'm valuing quality of life.
All right.
And like, you couldn't go outside or do anything. It's very depressing. So I started looking, Florida's open. And it's, the weather's out there better.
Good, yeah.
Maybe I want to get a condo out there so when it's cold here, I can come back to Florida. Well, then the prices in Florida started getting high.
I know.
And this is kind of crazy part of the story, but with the racial stuff a little bit, and I'm not really big on that.
All right.
Honestly, it kind of awakens your mind to the continent, which strangely,
all right.
The movie Black Panther kind of made me think.
All right.
You just saw the culture in a different way, and obviously it's not real, but it's some kind of pride in your culture. And when you're thinking of it's hard for me to explain this, but
how do you get to choose Kenya? How? I mean, we've got like 50.
I was going to go to Ghana, basically.
What happened? I mean, why did you get? I mean, how did you get to Kenya then? What happened?
I looked at the real estate prices in Accra and said, and then I watched some YouTubers out there. I'm like, I don't know if.
Because you reached out, I think you reached out before you came. We were in touch with you via Instagram before you came here.
Yeah, because you got recommended after I had decided to come to Kenya.
From someone?
Yeah, because the social media has made Africa Like even
visible.
ISO speed, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what he's doing
ISO,
is
yeah,
incredible
yeah.
because people are
Very
seeing
visible, yeah.
a way different mindset.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I was going to go to Ghana, and I really the real estate prices and like the level of development. I watched other YouTubers, and then I actually dated a girl in high school.
All right.
That
From
was
Ghana.
Kenyan.
Kenyan, okay. Ah,
So I had
see.
ugali, I
You
had
see?
some of the food.
That's what I was
and
looking
stuff.
for.
Her family like took me in, like
All
I
right.
would be at their house. So
Here?
no, in the U.S.
In the US, okay.
You know, and so I was aware that the country existed and maybe a little bit of the vibe.
Before you
of
came,
people.
that is.
Yeah. So,
All right.
So I was looking at Ghana, and then I was like, let me look at Kenya. And then I liked what I saw a lot
That
more.
was 2024.
Well, I had been probably thinking about going to the continent since 2020.
All right.
So it took me that long to
All right.
eventually do so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you
But,
came in Kenya 2024.
yeah,
All
early
right.
24.
So have you been to any country
No, only
in
place.
Africa? Only in Kenya.
Yeah, and I've done so much research. I'm not super interested, really.
Right.
I want to go visit other places, but I mean,
Kenya is
I knew when I
place.
first came here, I knew like this is where I want to be at.
Now I can tell you this. I mean, Kenya is well placed in regards to it's very open to foreigners, and you have a lot of people like you around here. There's a community, right? So you don't get to this place and kind of feel like lonely. There's a lot of people. I believe you've met so many people from your country who are here.
I don't.
There's
I
so
like
many.
to hang out with Kenyans. Actually, the
I
real
know,
estate,
I know.
the real estate has helped because I get to, because we have the same profession. So there's a lot of things that we can relate to.
Yeah, I know.
So I have a lot of friends in real estate. I meet with a lot of people.
But how about your
It's
brothers
easy.
and sisters from? I mean, sometimes it feels lonely. I don't know.
No, I'm not lonely. I ain't got,
All right, all right.
There's a couple of cool people, but
All right.
I think I left to get away from some of that.
All right,
so
I get you.
I'm not.
All right, I get you. But the community is there. So anybody who's watching who's a foreigner as well, they need to know that when you get here, it's not only you. There's a very huge community of foreigners who are here. For anybody who's watching who's a diaspora, and I mean, there's so many who are also coming back to Kenya, and also they're also investing back home, and just from that, I would like to compare because you have been to Kenya, you understand this market. I would like to compare this market and the US market, mostly New Jersey, because you understand it inside out. What is that one or two or three things that have really stood out for you that you can easily compare and contrast on these two markets?
Well, first thing is real estate works very similarly here. Just the structure of it, commissions, the way agency works and stuff like that. So it's easy for me to relate and has been easy to understand. But some of the differences, the average home price in the U.S. or in New Jersey is $450,000 US.
Average price?
Yes.
Wow, that's a villa in Lavington.
Exactly.
All right.
Now we use debt, so your people that are buying don't have that much money, but they're getting a 30-year mortgage, and so they're having to pay. And now interest rates are 7%.
Wow.
Yeah. So
7%.
it's not bad. Although you guys
That's
got
so
the
low.
KMRC thing,
Around 20-something, 17, 20-something percent.
and this is why I left the U.S. because the home price in 2020 in New Jersey was about $250,000.
All right.
And the interest was 2.75 or 3%.
Wow.
So to buy a house, your monthly payment is double, almost triple now within a 5 or 6 year time span.
That's crazy.
So for me, I used to help people buy their first home. I took a lot of pride in that.
All right.
Especially in the Black American community.
get you, yeah.
There's less education, less, resources. And so I always pride myself in educating people about home ownership because it is a big benefit. The wealth disparity in the U.S. is mostly based off of real estate.
All right.
So if you own real estate, you're going to be much more wealthy than someone that
Exactly.
doesn't.
It's true. It's even here. It's true.
So I took a lot of pride in that. And unfortunately, because of the way that the economy and the prices have gone, it's not very accessible to normal people now. You need to really do really well. Like before, you used to be able to just be a regular person, go to school, get a good job, and you're going to be able to do well and own a quality home.
Yeah.
Now the younger
It's
people,
difficult.
the Gen Zs,
Yeah. It's not easy.
they're screwed. I mean, people ask me for advice. I literally don't know what to tell them because of the affordability. Like if you do everything right now in the U.S. as a young person, your opportunity is much less than it was for me even.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's a big problem.
But then look, I kind of feel like you are better placed, or the U.S. market is a bit better in regards to ease of access to capital. If you compare, like here, for me to get a loan, right? You know, the interest rate is a bit crazy.
Yeah.
There's a time I used to serve a client from, I think, a state in the U.S., and there's a time many people went to protest in regards to the increment in interest rates.
Yeah.
If you compare our market, it's around 17 to 20-something%. It's very difficult to get even mortgages here in Kenya.
Yeah, I think it's a really complicated topic because financing can help lift people up, because I'm just a middle class normal guy, right, from the U.S. That's how I grew up, and I was in the military and things like that. But I'm not extraordinary in any way. But after I got out of the military, I was able to use financing to buy my first property. It was a 4-unit property, so I rented out the other units.
All right.
And that was how I started investing and getting more property.
All right.
So if I needed the cash, I would have never had that opportunity.
All right.
So financing in that way is really good, right?
All right.
So it can lift people up if
All
they're
right.
smart with their money.
All right.
But it's a double-edged sword.
I get you.
Because in the U.S., everything is on finance for people. It is a choice, right? People have financed their phone, their car.
Wow.
So now
it's all debt.
You're on a hamster wheel. So you might see someone making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, but all that money is going to debt.
Wow.
So are you really wealthy?
You're not.
So it's a hard balance, right?
I get you.
In one sense, it can lift you up if you use debt
If you're smart with it, yeah.
But at the same time, you become a slave to the debt.
I get you.
And many people live that lifestyle.
All right.
So I think for Kenyans, I think having access to capital is a good thing, but it's also a dangerous thing at the same time.
I get you. What else that you've seen that is a bit different compared to Kenyan market and the U.S. market?
I think on the real estate, transparency is a big difference, right? Because most of our public records are digitized. I know they're trying to do that here with Ardisasa and stuff, but
Public records?
Yes. So I can see any property that was sold, when it was sold, how much it was sold for, how long it was on the market.
It's public.
Yeah, it's public. So, and we have.
So why is that important then?
Good question. That's why agents here are much more important than they are in the U.S. because their knowledge is more valuable.
Here?
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
Because you know what stuff sold for, you know the market. When I come here, that's the first thing I do is look online. Well, you can't find that.
You can't find it, yeah.
If you go to the U.S., you could look at the Arizona market. You could see, or wherever, Zillow. Oh, that house sold for this. You could see a map. Oh, this sold for that. Oh, this was on the market too long. So I can know what a property should sell for based off of the comparable market.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have title and deed issues like you might hear if you start buying land and such like that. I mean, you don't have these type of issues. I mean, you can, but I mean,
it's rare.
Yeah, so the risk level with that is lower.
And I think it's something we need to copy from that market.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if someone made Zillow here, they'd make a lot of money.
But look, the problem is, we as Kenyans and how we've grown up is when you make your money or when you own property and when you hide it, But Americans, they flaunt it. Like you don't need, in America, when you have, a real estate, it's not to be hidden. You can just have it publicly. But in Kenya, somebody may have say $1 billion or something, and they'll never want it to be publicized. I have a problem when it comes to even selling, high-end villas in the market. They don't want it to be shown.
I was going to ask you about that because, I've been to Karen, Runda, Mathaga.
Yeah,
right?
it's
what's those? Who are these people buying this? You know what I mean? And so I know people have money around here. They just hide it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say much because I cannot say much. It's very confidential. Like yesterday, somebody reached out to me via WhatsApp. Like, Boris, you know what? There is this ABCD that we need to sell, but it must be sold, confidentially. But then, how do you sell?
How do you sell it if you can't?
How do you sell it if you can't publicize it?
And that goes to the market transparency, because then how do you price it? Because
exactly.
when I look at those markets, something's 40 million and something else that's the same thing as 100 million. Like, this doesn't make sense.
I get you. That's why we also have issues of pricing when it comes to mostly villas, owners of priced properties, because they don't know the market.
How could you? Because there's no information.
So our market is very, very confidential when it comes to the premium part, the prime part of real estate, where we have like say villas in Runda Mudaiga. It's very exclusive.
That's why your experience comes in, because if you're helping a buyer, you can really advise them on what they should be looking for.
So I'm very resourceful, right?
Yeah, it's very important. How could you do it yourself? You want to know.
I get you.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful comparison that I didn't know about.
The skill of the agent here is so much more important. Yeah. In the U.S., the things that agents do is help you, because we do home inspection. There's a lot of contingencies. So someone has to get a mortgage, they got to inspect the property, make sure everything's good, and those negotiations throughout the process are really where the agent is helpful. More than, you'll know the neighborhoods, but if you're a smart person, you can kind of look at what's been selling and kind of know around what stuff should be sold for. Yeah.
All right. But then you see, if you compare with our market here, mortgages are the least when it comes to, if you compare those who buy. We have got, on the low level is mortgage purchases. On the next level is cash purchase. On the first level is installment purchase, like installment, where somebody puts in a deposit and they pay in
They pay the owner.
They pay their own, like,
over time.
Mostly off-plan projects. Our market is off-plan projects.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So somebody puts down, say, 20%, then the other balance is paid maybe, say, in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, right.
But then, if you compare that with your market in the US is mostly 80 or 90% mortgage purchases.
70-something% about
mortgage.
33% are cash
for me,
buyers. Yeah.
For me, is installments.
Installment.
So it's a bit different.
Which those installment payments are good. It makes it accessible.
Exactly, and it means our market has more money running around. You see, what else do you? Because I told you 2 or 3.
Another difference.
All right.
You know what it? Well, for us as buyers, it's very complicated because we have to deal with immigration, and do you form a company, or how do you take possession? Plus, you have leasehold, freehold issues if you're looking at buying land, which many of us are not familiar with leasehold. So when we see that, we really don't like it.
All right.
I think those are problems, but that's specific to the foreigners, really.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's very true. If you look at that, when a foreigner comes in to buy real estate here and you compare with locals, it's a bit easier for us here. But still, I would like to clarify that foreigners cannot own freehold land.
Right.
But then again, even locals here, many of them don't own freehold land.
Right, in Nairobi.
Yeah, in Nairobi. Right. Yeah.
But if you go out, then
yeah. And 99 years is quite.
That's what they tell me.
That's not bad.
A lot of us, I'll say mostly Black Americans, honestly, are coming here not just for business, but for and I don't like to be corny about it, but like a deeper kind of connection, where you were from on the continent, and all that kind of stuff. It's a little romanticized, but people think legacy and passing things down.
Yeah.
That's part of their thinking process.
All right.
And so when you say 99-year lease, they don't really, I get the nuance.
You can always renew it.
But what if the government just
you can always renew.
What if they don't want you to renew it?
It depends, but it happens. You can always
renew.
Say
you spend 30, 40 million investing, building up that property, and then your kids
Let me ask you, Rand,
lose it.
How sure are you in the next 90 years you'll be alive?
No, I won't. But these people are thinking about their kids and stuff.
No, I understand that. But then again, what happens is the fact that people have bought real estate, and I've seen guys renewing their leases. You can always renew. It's not complex. It's only if the government has a plan with that land. And look,
who knows what the government's going to be doing later? You guys complain about the government.
Oh why? I get you. It's a very, very real concern. I get you. Makes sense. And I think for many foreigners or anybody from outside who wants to buy, that can be a very huge concern.
I agree with you that it is probably overblown. In most cases, you'll probably be able to renew it, and I've been having those conversations, so it's more comfortable, but just on its face is like, I don't know about that.
Look, but then be honest with me on this one, because now don't try to be nice to me. Be honest. Yeah. It's a podcast, and guys are watching it. I want you to compare one thing. Can you compare, the quality of real estate in terms of finishes, Kenya and the US, and tell me where, and point out those things?
Okay, so in my videos,
Because New Jersey, you've seen
yeah,
the premium, listings in New Jersey.
yeah, for sure. So in my videos, and when I talk about here, I'm rating quality based off of this market and industry. Now, if you want me to compare it to the U.S., I would say that the finish quality out of 10 would be like a 3 or a 4.
Over 10?
In general, mostly off-plan stuff, but no, villas and everything as well.
But
it's the finishing. I don't know. People use beautiful materials, like the decor is good. The finishing is bad, especially with anything that has to do with like a liquid that
Paint,
solidifies, right? So the grout in tiles.
The grout, okay, grout. Oh yeah, I know. No. I know.
And I did in this work. I flipped houses. I get dirty, so I know how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And I watch them, and why don't you just wipe it, right? Okay, the grout is in the seam, right?
Yeah.
But a little bit spills over.
I know.
Just wipe it real quick.
I get you.
It'll be perfect. But they don't. When they're painting, the light switches. What? Stop getting paint on the light switch, please. Just wipe it off if it gets wet. I don't understand.
So detail.
Yeah, and I think and if I take a normal Kenyan and be like, look at these tiles, they'll think it's fine. But from my perspective, I'm like, no. Why? But at the same time, it works, right? Like you could still take a shower; it's not a problem.
But then again, that's finesse on the finishing.
It throws people off. That's the biggest problem. Like especially grout because it looks dirty, right?
I know. It's a big thing.
They're not mixing it in clean buckets. I've seen them in these developments. They have a hard hat and they're mixing. Well, it's getting dirty. So when you put it in, now you can see the sand, a little bit of dirt.
Yeah.
Well, now it looks dirty permanently.
I get you.
And this isn't something that costs more money. Other than maybe training, it's just taking a little bit extra time and care about it. So I feel like these small things can make a big difference.
Have you been to any property in the market that has that
weirdly
very good finishes?
The hotels.
Like villa hotels.
Hotels don't have this problem. I don't know what they're doing, if they're importing their labor or whatever, but hotels you won't see that.
How about villas on sale? Have you been to any high-end
villas? Are bad too. Like
what do you mean? Come on.
I did. There's a video in Karen. I'm looking at that stuff, and it's still I'm not saying they look bad overall. I'm just saying the details are bad.
I get you, but I'm so shocked to understand that there's no villa you've seen that
for $40 million. So actually, in that high price range, I don't think they're worth it because now I'm really being critical because I'm comparing it to the U.S.
All right.
I'd rather have the U.S. house, to be honest, because if I'm paying this much, this is crazy that. There's these are unprofessional things. So if I hired someone and they did that level of job in the U.S., I would not pay them, with that,
I get you.
Bad finishing.
I get you. It's a very good concern because, we get a lot of foreigners who buy real estate in areas like, those high-end areas. And many times you take them for views like, no, Boris, no. Boris.
And it's crazy because, it's a high-end villa, $40 million.
Or even more.
It's
around, say, 100 million.
So then you look at the trim here, and it'll have paint all on top of it and spackle, and it's like, this is like $1 to fix, but I'm not going to buy this because why is this work done this way? Now I got to come and fix the whole house.
I get you. I get what you're saying. I get you.
It's very frustrating because, again, while you're doing the work, you take a rag, you wipe it, no problem.
All right, Ram, I understand. I mean, it's good to hear that from you because, that's a very, very important thing for developers to work on if they want to resonate to the international market.
Yeah, like even the handover for my property, one of my off-plan properties that I have, the floor they must have dragged something on the floor, so it's all scratched up. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you got to fix this. They tried to fill it in with a pen. I'm like, come on now. I just bought this. No, I'm not, I'm buying it new. It should look new. It shouldn't have damage from people because they don't cover the floor. I've been in these. I see the way that they're working. my head explodes when I'm looking at it because the construction process just doesn't have the proper oversight. It doesn't have, I don't know, there's no manager like, yo, don't drag that on the floor. You know, like there's ways, like even the tiles, you know, in the stairwell, there'll be nice tiles in the stairwell. And before the project's done, there's some broken ones because they're going up and down the steps.
All right. Change it.
Fix it, but why don't you just put padding down so it doesn't break?
All right.
You know what I mean? So it's just certain things like that I don't understand.
No, but it's good that you're saying it on these podcasts because there are many developers also watching. And I think if a developer can come to this market and do what you're saying, they would really do well in this market.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is that, I mean, people are buying. Yeah, I mean, 3 years out, they're selling out. So is there the incentive to improve?
No,
but
I mean,
I do think...
Look at the supply in this market. We're heading towards that direction very soon. We're going there.
And that is my thought, is if a developer comes in and builds to that higher standard, it's going to really be challenging for the other guys. They're going to have to raise their level because there are a lot of foreigners buying.
All right.
And they're going to go to that one because it's more relatable.
Appealing, I get you. But then look at this round. I mean, it's also important for us to talk about things like investing. Mm-hmm. Give me numbers. You bought a house in Nairobi, right? Give me numbers. Is it easy to invest here or back home, and ROIs, like percentages? Just talk about that.
Man,
and compare
unless you're like really in the business in the U.S. where you're like knocking on doors, finding deals undervalued.
All right.
The return on investment is tiny right now. I
Where?
mean, I would say most of the U.S., definitely in New Jersey. I mean, I stopped buying after 2020 when the prices went up. There's no, you have to really look for a deal.
All right.
And if you find one, and this is where the debt comes back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now if I'm renting a property, I have a mortgage, okay? So say the property rents for $3,000 a month.
Right.
Well, my mortgage is, now the mortgage is probably $2,000 a month. So you only have $1,000 spread. What if they don't pay?
Problem.
What if they move out? What if they damage something? And our property laws advantage the tenant.
I was told that. I was shocked.
So if they stop paying, it might take 3 months to get rid of them.
I was told that.
You've
have
lost
to fix things.
your profit for the year.
All right.
And you still have to pay that mortgage. This is how you could go out of business. You could lose everything.
All right. So talk about then percentages. I mean, how does that look like in terms of percentages? Because here you hear agents and developers talking about, say, oh, it's 10%, 15%,
I don't
70%.
I don't believe anybody that puts ROI percentages out. I don't, because the data, like, where is the data on what are they renting for? You know what I mean? I kind of know what a Kilimani 1 bedroom would rent for at this point, you know, but again, that stuff can change. The percentages in the U.S., cap rates, like, if you were buying like an apartment building, I think they're looking at between 4% and 7%.
That's too low. That's very low.
Exactly. Why would you take all the risk of
that's so low.
Buying this building?
I get you. So
the
low.
Management, it doesn't make sense.
It's so low.
The numbers overall here are lower, but the return is going to be higher. And then if you know you have the advantage of being able to buy cash or an installment plan.
All right.
Even for regular people that don't have a lot of money in the U.S., I really think they should look here to invest. Yeah, because if you don't own assets, you're going to fall behind in the global market. Whether you're in the U.S., here, it doesn't matter because everything's going up. Yeah. And if you don't own things as the prices are going up, you're falling behind because you're not going to make more wealth or income as the prices go up.
It's very true.
So you have to own something. So even if you're in the U.S., you can't afford something. I think people are starting to look overseas, and that's where me looking over here is like, oh, wow, I can make money. I don't have debt on my properties now, so, you know, it's less stress. Because I'm a little bit older now, you know, I don't want to have risk as much. I want to just
I get you reduce
be
risk
peaceful,
level.
Get my money, you know.
But let me ask you, Ran, I mean, what's the scare? What's the fear of that, you know, diaspora client, maybe say a foreigner who is out there? What's the fear and what's the scare that has been sold to you, right? Not to jump into this market.
There's a lot of legitimate problems, right? So
okay, tell me that.
Well, there's a perception of scamming. That's a big thing,
What is it?
right? Everyone's worried about getting scammed, which is
Oh,
true
scamming.
because
Scamming. Okay.
every person will tell you they're an agent. They'll tell you they can help you here.
All right.
So finding the right paths of people to speak to can be challenging, right? Because you need the right professionals to help you because you don't know what you're doing when you first get
All
here.
right.
So if you link up with the wrong person, you're going to be in trouble.
Scam is true.
People are sending people money for the installment. They might send the agent the money to pay the
Oh,
installment. You know what I mean? Like,
I
they
get
don't
you.
know.
I get you. Yeah,
can
yeah.
easily tell them
Yeah.
something. If they're not doing their research, they
I
don't
get you,
know.
yeah.
So there's a lot of risk with that. Then there's immigration, getting a KRA PIN. Do you get a work permit? Do you make a company? Alien ID. If you make a company, you need a Kenyan local on the board,
Yeah.
but then do they have power? Can
All
they
right.
take the company? Do you lose your property? There's a million problems, really, with coming here, overlaid on you need the people to give you the right answers. Before I found the law firm I like to work with, I've talked to a dozen lawyers, and they all say different things.
What's
It
the law
doesn't
firm?
make sense. FKC Legal.
FKC,
of course, they were on
I
here.
know that. Yeah. FKC legal, yeah.
They've been great.
All right.
So, but I fear for a lot of people coming here because there's a lot of sharks that can.
Oh, you think so? But then
yeah.
how? Look, just tell me.
But that
Shortly.
okay, but that would happen to foreigners in the U.S. So I don't want to be like, oh, they're just scamming in Kenya, because foreigners get scammed in the U.S. because they don't know.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, you have
It's
to
all
move.
over the world.
Yeah, you have to move correctly, and
So-
know who you're talking.
So how do you do it then? How do you do it?
I think I have the advantage. I have 13 years of experience in real estate, and really the real estate here works similarly. So for me, it wasn't that difficult. But for a regular person, especially those that we're talking about that don't own in the U.S., they don't even know real estate purchase process in their own country. So now they're coming here. You add immigration and all these other things with deed and title, sectional titles, and things like that.
So how was it for you? Was it easy or was it a bit difficult for you?
I think I got lucky that I worked with the right people, but I think that was more luck than, well, some discernment of who I'm dealing with, because I did talk to different agents and things, but I think partially was lucky to link up with people that helped me.
All right.
Although, even in that, there was things, even through the buying process, that I didn't know.
All right.
You know,
All right.
like even now, getting the RD Sasa so I can get the sectional title.
Yeah.
I'm just now doing that for a property I bought like a year ago because
Wow.
they didn't really
Explain
educate
that to
me
you.
on all that.
All right.
And I don't know if they knew because it's different.
It's
for
new.
foreigners.
It's still new. It's not really.
And then, you know, the foreigners got this more expensive track to go because you could register your own KRA PIN on
Yes.
the KRA website.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that.
All
So
right.
when I believe it's legal for me to have a KRA PIN,
All right.
but there's no online way to do it. So now
A lawyer comes in.
the lawyer comes in, but also the lawyer may have to facilitate someone at the office to
make it
process.
happen.
Yeah, because
Kenyan way.
Exactly.
Kenyan way.
So now you're getting taxed and all these different things, and say the lawyer doesn't tell you the right thing. Now you're facilitating stuff that isn't going to the right thing. It's a lot of ways to lose your money, and when you're dealing with real estate, it can be a lot of money.
So let me ask you about this thing. You've gone through this process. How was the professionalism, if you compare, and what do you think we should improve on as industry players in this industry? I would love to hear about that.
Response time.
Response time.
Come on now.
You
Okay,
think so?
People are here for 2 weeks, okay? I don't have time for you to be late. I don't have time for you to not answer my call, or I want to review the properties that we're going to see before we go so I can have the right mindset of what I'm looking at.
Wow.
They
You
don't-
want to review the properties before we go see them?
Yeah, so I can have
Uh-huh.
where are they on a map? What's
All
going
right.
on? I need
Location.
to understand the context of what we're doing. And so I will ask for that, and I might not get it back. And I know because they're driving clients around, they can't respond to me. So I don't get the answer till the end of the day. Well, I'm only here for a limited time. So my time is very valuable as far as what I'm looking for.
Wow.
And now if you're late, the time thing here is a little bit different, but it's a big problem. And then going through the process, there's a level of education that people need.
All right.
And so if
Things
you're
like
just
what?
the immigration, the legal stuff.
All right.
So if they're just an agent and they're selling you, now you're left to figure that stuff out later.
But let me ask you, how about if I pass you to maybe say a lawyer who understands all that? Because
You have to.
it's a different language for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't really figure out how immigration works out. So say, look at this,
I
Rand.
think
You're
a
here to
base-
buy, but then I have somebody like a lawyer who can take you through all this.
I think if it was me, I would say that the agents should have a baseline of information if they're serving
Makes
that,
sense, I get you.
just so that they know the outline of like
I
the
get you.
process. You just don't want to be surprised, right? So you might not know like
Wow.
the exact fee or anything like that, but hey, you're going to have to register for this. You're going to need this. That's going to come 6 months from now or at handover. I think expectation in sales, you know this, expectation is everything. So it could be the same service, but if I expect more, I'm going to be unhappy. And if I expect less, I'm going to be very happy that I. So if you set the expectation with the client before anything happens, I think it will help a lot.
I love that. That's very, 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 very beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But the education is a component that I think this, and I'm sure you guys do this. Like people need it. You know, the base level of knowing
Best
what's
level.
going on.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Of
I'm not saying you got
taxes,
to be a lawyer.
immigration, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, just to prepare you for the process.
Right. But you should definitely, I would advise people that they're going to need a lawyer to actually take care of that stuff, you know.
Now, look, there's a very...
I didn't use a lawyer though. I figured, I'm different, so I figured
right.
it out. I'm like
All
looking
right.
at the Kenyan laws. I read the Sectional Title Act. I do all that kind of stuff.
Then you're lucky. You're so
I like
lucky.
it though.
Yeah, I get you. So then look at this. And there is this thing when you get into buying real estate that, of course, it eats into your investment, taxes.
That's a big question mark. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Because
have experienced both.
Well, this is another thing if you're an investor buying here, there's what's on paper about the taxes and fees and stuff, but then I don't know what the actual execution, like, because, okay, let's compare it in the US. There's many things that you can expense where you end up not paying as much taxes if you're smart. Like rich people don't pay taxes in the US basically.
All right.
You know, you really pay taxes on your worked income.
Okay.
If you have your own business and you have good tax people,
You can always maneuver.
yes.
Yeah.
And I know that's very similar here. I know they're doing the ETIMS thing here, so it's a little bit different. So, but that's a sophisticated person in the U.S. that's familiar with the system.
Tax
You know,
system, yes.
because even me, I'm getting more sophisticated with how I do my taxes in the U.S. So now I'm here. I got to learn a whole new system and
It's a bit
figure
different,
out
confusing. Okay.
the legal way to
Do your taxes.
do your taxes, but not overpay. You know,
All
so that's
So how about? I mean, if you look at percentages, like I believe you paid stamp duty, right? When you're buying property.
it depends on the state.
No, here you paid.
Yeah,
Oh, all
4%.
varies with the states.
Yeah, in the U.S., depending on the state and city, there's different tax. But on a transaction, it could be 1% up to 4%.
Oh, all right.
Depending, yeah.
Because for here it's 4%.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the range.
But that's built in. We know that one, so
All
that's
right.
not too big of
all right.
a deal.
All right. How about when you sell?
I have no idea.
Is there tax?
Oh, in the U.S., so you have capital gains. If
Same
you
here?
sell too fast,
How much? I mean, what percentage? What percent is
it's
it?
capital gains. Oh, I'm not
Because
sure.
here's around
15,
say 15%.
50?
15.
Oh,
15.
I think we're around the same actually.
All right.
on that. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
How about?
Because I don't know because there's ways to avoid it where you just try to not absorb that. Yeah.
All right. So then look, we have gone deep into comparing those two markets, and Ryan, before we end this, would you advise anybody, right, to invest here?
I think it's the best thing ever. Nairobi is so alive compared to the States. I mean, look around, look at all the building. Talantia Stadium wasn't there. Now
It's coming
there.
up. Yeah.
Even Gong Road, Kenyatta Avenue, they're building overpasses. They're doing SGR to Kisumu. You know how hard it is to build something in the U.S.? Like, it's impossible. You know, the amount of permits, talk about cost of doing business, it's inaccessible. You need to pay lawyers crazy money. Nairobi is alive. There's opportunity. There's so many things to do. there's so many creative people. There's a lot of educated people here doing amazing things. I get inspired when I come here just because I just see so much movement. Everything's happening. The U.S. is impossible to do anything.
Wow.
You know, so it's just so free here. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, I think there's so, not just real estate. I mean, it's just endless opportunities. But you have to do things. People come here romantically. That's not going to work. Like, you got to know what you're doing.
All right.
And you got to link up with the right people.
All right. Makes sense. I mean, thanks, Ran, for all that and for your time. Ran is a real estate, industry player in the state of New Jersey, and is also practicing here in Nairobi. And
maybe soon.
maybe so you want to open an outfit here.
Well, I don't know. Eventually, but I want to do it the right way. There's high expectations, especially if I were to do something. So. Just trying to get everything.
But something that really caught my attention is you've mentioned about professionalism and, just us being, quick in response and, picking phone calls and responding and also trying to prepare clients for the journey. It's something I think I've really liked from you sharing all that.
Yeah, I think you add a lot of value and differentiation between other agents, which there are many, when you can provide that value. That's invaluable versus someone that's just selling stuff.
Wow.
Because now the trust is because from a foreigner perspective, this is like a low trust environment, right? So being able to trust someone is infinitely valuable because now you know at least my money is going where it's supposed to go.
Yes.
I'm going to get what I'm supposed to get. If you can make someone feel that way, I think you're going to beat everybody else because they're worried about it.
Thank you, Ran. It's a guy, Boris Yeltsin. They call me the Wolf of Real Estate. And this was, our podcast for comparing markets between Nairobi, Kenya, real estate as compared to, the U.S. market. And there is Mr. Ran Fagan. He's a friend of mine. He practices real estate in the state of New Jersey. Ran, thank you so much for your time. And parting short before we end this, something we can tell guys who are watching, then we can end this.
Nairobi is alive. The opportunities are huge, but you got to do it the right way.
Exactly. We'll see you on the next episode, maybe with Ran or somebody else. Keep it, Realty Boris.